Hi, Jeff the Birdman with you again today. And today is January 18th. It's Thursday and it's about 9:30. I wanted to talk to you guys quickly for a little bit about the rarity in cars and what comes with buying them, um, how difficult it is to find parts, um, and just overall statistics about cars like that. Anyways, a few of them I want to get into. First of all, is like the 1988 Mustang GT T-top that I have. Now, what makes it rare, obviously, is the T-top option. And how rare is that? Well, I don't know the exact statistics of how rare, but I know that particular styling from 87 to 88 and up until 93, um, is quite rare because 87 and 88 were the only 2 years that they did that, the T-top option in that style. And roughly, I believe around 2,200 in the 2 years were built. Um, and in 88, actually, they stopped mid-year giving the option available. So there was around 2 to 400, depending on what where you look it up. So considerably, those are pretty rare. And um, what's even rarer about them is that T-tops in general, you just don't see them anymore. It's kind of one of the ages of dinosaur options, which is sad because I really think the T-top option, T-bar, T-roof option is really cool. I think that it's kind of the best of both worlds between a moonroof and a convertible. And if you don't like the cost of maintenance of a convertible, or even the cold, because it gets colder in a convertible, especially in the winter, that a T top is a really nice in between, and a little bit more used, I think, than a moonroof sunroof option. So that's kind of where I stand on those. I know my numbers might not be exactly correct on that, but they're pretty close. Um, Sunroof cars in the Fox bodies are pretty rare as well because they didn't make as many either. Um, but what makes them kind of a challenge to buy, either or, over like your convertible or regular coupe, is the parts. Thank goodness places like LMR and what's the other place? CJ Pony Parts have available most of what you need. The quality's not all that great from what I've been told, but it's better than nothing. And if you have a leaky sunroof T-top, you want to give it a shot. Excuse me. But that's a big deal, is whenever you're researching to find a car, or let's say you just found a car and you really like it, don't off the bat just go ahead and get it, because let's say you get a car like a Mustang 2, King Cobra T-top, like I talked about in my other video the other day, how I wanted that, and how at first I was like all gung ho, and I found a couple, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna, I should get this. Well, I did the research, and I found out parts you can't find them. You could junkyard find, you can go on eBay and around the internet, but it's not as successful as like looking in a catalog, like CJ Pony Parts and LMR, Late Model Restoration, provide. They have those parts available. And, it makes a difference when you're buying a car and, trying to restore it. So that's something to keep in mind when looking out there. Now the T-top option, um, the parts are available, but they're scarcer, and especially what I found out in the Fox bodies is that 87 to 88 and even 89 are about similar on everything else. If you're looking for center console parts, heater controls, but 90 and 91, 2 and 3, totally different. They swapped everything around, so I mean you can fit certain things in there. Like I had to with my heater control unit, but I had to swap the wires. I literally had to tug them over and pull them across, and really get it close to as I could, and it worked, but it wasn't as nice. Um, and what I found is even some parts, that I want for my 88 aren't all that easily available. So keep that in mind when buying a rare or low production number car. And some of the other ones out there that I've looked at, I've been interested in, that maybe you have too, or like the older Mustangs, the 60s and early 70 Mustangs. Well, I'll tell you this much. If you're looking for a fastback, they are out there, but you know, you're going to pay a lot. And if you're someone like me who wants something that's going to stand out from the crowd, whether it's just a simple, or not simple, but a more common option, like fold down rear seats or grabber colors, that they did in the late 60s, early 70s. Those are harder to find, but are out there. And if you're going to get one like that that's going to stand out, that's going to be more of an investment. you know um, some other ones out there is like, my dad owns a 69 GT fastback, and that's a great car. It's one of, I believe, 1,200 produced in 69. 69 is when they got rid of the GT option and added the Boss, the Mach 1, and the Shelby GT 500 look, that the long, almost Camaro Chevelle look front end. Really nice. Um, and his is one of like 200 in the fastbacks. They made, because they made coupes, convertibles, and fastbacks. Well, his is one of 200 fastbacks that were built in that year. So his is pretty rare. And some things that they just started reproducing is like the GT gas cap, which is unique to that year only. The GT rims that are 68, 69. But little things like that, let's say you're able to find a 69 GT fastback or 69 GT period, there's going to be more challenges if you want to do a quality original restoration, you know. But in my opinion, it'll pay off more because you have that one car that you don't see every day. I mean, how many times do you see a 69 fastback? Well, I'm sure quite a lot at a car show, but 9 times out of 10 it'll be a Mach 1 or just a run-of-the-mill fastback. Hardly ever will you see a GT fastback, and that's what makes them rare. If you base them on production numbers too, it's rarer than some Shelbys. Because they built so many Shelbys in that year, but they only built 1,500 GTs, and even fewer GT fastbacks. So that's something to keep in mind. Other cars out there is like the Dodge Magnum. A lot of people think that's ugly. I don't. I think the Dodge Magnum, especially the T-top, obviously option, is really cool. I like their opening headlight thing, and just the shape of them is really, kind of bossy, classy look. I don't know. It's something that I like. Other cars out there, Challengers. I have a 71 Challenger that, it's very low production. 71 was the cutoff year for the emissions. They started doing emissions after that, so they changed a lot of shit. A lot of regulations happened, and 71 is unique to only 71 in certain areas. The um, grill surrounding area is unique to 71 only. The tail light panel and tail lights, unique to 71 only. So if you don't have those on your 71, you're pretty screwed because they don't make them. They don't reproduce them even now. I was lucky that mine came in pristine shape, and I'm going to be able to just clean them up and reuse them. But a lot of people out there don't. 70, you can find anything for the Challenger. 72, 3, and 4, they were all the same for the most part, unless you got a rally package, which is really the only difference between the regular Challenger and a rally was on the fenders. They had these like scoop like indentations on the front fenders, and usually came with rally gauges. Other than that, not a whole lot. Um, Let me think. Other cars that are rare and low production, kind of unappreciated again, like the Mustang 2s, the Mach 2 or Mach 1, 2, whatever. The Cobra 2, the King Cobra, you know. I think they're highly unappreciated, and I think that, when restored right and maybe, just given a little more pizzazz under the hood or whatever, can be really stylish cars. And plus, you don't see them every day. So those are good, cool cars. But again, with the Mustang 2 and any Mustang 2, is the parts. They're very hard to find. So if you do find one complete and find one in good shape. Which is hard to do, but it's possible. I've seen them out there. Other cars are like the Dodge Aspen RT or the Plymouth Volare Roadrunner package. Those are cool, and they came in T-tops. Rare cars you don't see every day. And I think that, I think it's cool when you have a rare car, one you don't see every day, and you drive down the road and people, hey, what is that? And you get to tell them, like, wow, I've never heard of that. And I don't know. I think it's just a lot more neat to have than, just a more common car, you know. Um, but again, there's challenges, parts. So find them complete. They're out there, and it's possible you might pay a little bit more. But again, it's more of an investment in my opinion, because you will have, something that will, only increase in value because of its rarity. You know, I mean, again, like going back to the Fox Body T-tops, like my 88 is one of maybe 400 roughly around there in the 88 year, and one of only 22, I believe, 100 for the 2 years of its availability. And how many are left on the road? I mean, a quarter of that, if that. So it's a rare car. It definitely holds a significant value over your average 5.0 Fox body. And I know it takes a certain calling and likeness to really want those cars, a certain affinity of car junkyism, I guess you could say, but it it's a cool passion to have, especially when you dig into the history of it and go, wow, mine's one of 12, mine's one of 2, whatever, so that's something that excites me at least. And you know I'm sure if you guys out there got into it, you would see it and agree as well. Now I know there's a lot of other rare cars out there, and when I mean rare, I mean low production and ones you don't see every day. A lot of Mopar cars out there that they in the late '60s, '70s, they went through the option book and just went whoop, let whatever you want, go ahead, and people got some crazy stuff in low cars that not a lot of people bought. Um, and I know Chevy did, Pontiac, GMC, Ford did other cars. But I'm just telling you some of the more common ones that I know of, anyways, and ones I'm passionate about. I really, really like um, the Ford cars because, they did some cool stuff as well. I mean, yeah, everybody's probably owned a Mustang or knows somebody who's owned a Mustang or has wanted to or whatever. Love them, hate them, you know them, and if it weren't for the Mustang, some of the other cars that came out in competition for it might not have existed. Probably not. The Challenger, Hemi Chargers, that styling they did. I mean, or they might have. I don't know. But I'm just telling you my. Anyways, other cars. Oh, Ford cars. Maverick. Unappreciated, but it's a cool car. I like it. Better looking than the Pinto, anyways. And you could, like the Pinto, put a small block Ford V8 and really romp with it. I mean, I've seen people, even with the six cylinders, be able to haul butt on them because they're so tiny and light, and very reminiscent if you look at them as from the older Mustang aspect, especially the grabbers. If you can find a grabber Maverick or a Comet GT, hold on to them or get them, flip them, if you can. I know the market's died recently, and it's a lot harder to do that. That's why I've gotten out of the game. But for certain people who have the time and money and the passion, it's fine to pick them up because again, those are low production cars, grabber edition or GT edition, and when done right, can really make a profit on it. I've seen it. But yeah, there's a lot of different cars out there, that you can find. Just go on the internet and look them up. Low production muscle cars, low production cars. Even some of the cars in the '80s, the Shelby Daytona, the Ford Escort GS or whatever. There's cars out there that are unappreciated, rare, and worthwhile. And I think, especially when people start, stop being able to find all the more common cars, for sale, they're gonna want the rare, low production cars, and they're gonna want those unappreciated cars, the ones that you can do a lot with and stand out from a crowd. So, anyways, I just wanted to quickly share with you guys about that. I know I kind of went into a little more depth than I intended, but I just want to share that with you guys and let you know that for those who are passionate, they're out there, and it's the best time to snatch them up because I've seen them drop down in value, just because of the recession in the market, So if you want, pick them up, and like my T-top, like, my Challenger, they're only going to go back up in value because, the rarity of the fact that you don't see them every day, that doesn't make it money, So take that in mind. Like, subscribe, leave comments or suggestions of what you'd like me to talk about next time. All right? Oh, by the way, pretty soon I'm going to be doing another video on the 88 GTT top. I got the gas tank out, and I was very surprised on what I found. I'll let you guys know that in another episode. Okay? Bye.